What's up, folks? This is Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. How many of you out there like Lord of the Rings? How many of you have heard of the One Ring RPG? Well, a lot of you that have heard of the One Ring may not have tried it yet, and maybe that's because you're not sure what you need to get into it. What's worth your money? What's worth your time? Well, today we're going to go over all that because I'm going to go down the full line of One Ring products and some third-party products. And if you hang around to the end, I've got some homebrew creations to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's talk about the One Ring.
One ring to rule them all.
Hey, this is Justin again. Let me ask you a favor. Before we get into the One Ring, if you are enjoying this channel and you like the content that I produce, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, as that keeps me doing these videos.
Even you couldn't say no to that.
If you're looking for a group of gamers to discuss games, play games, or just have a pop culture chat with, head over to the Books, Bricks, and Boards Discord server. The link is in the description of this video, and that's also where you're going to be able to find my free One Ring resources.
It gets even better.
Lastly, if you'd like to support the channel financially, consider a membership. With memberships as low as $2 a month, they're very affordable, and they help the channel continue to do what we do. With all that out of the way, on with the show. It's no secret that I enjoy the One Ring. Some of my earliest successful videos were on this very game a couple of years ago. But the line itself has grown, and there are a lot of choices to be made when you're deciding what is for you and what is not for you with the One Ring RPG. So in this video, we're going to be going through each of those items. We'll do a quick rundown of what is in each product, and we'll decide what's going to be for you and what's not. And first off, I'm going to start with the core rule book, as you see right in front of you here. 238 pages, has the full rules, adversaries, character creation. It is the best core rule book that Free League has put out, and believe me, that's saying something. The pages are beautiful, they're thick, very heavy stock. The art is magnificent, and everything just bleeds Tolkienian vibe. This is a purchase that you will not regret. If you find the book online at your favorite retailer, you can even get it cheaper than what I mentioned. But this is going to be quite literally everything that you need outside of dice, a paper, and a pencil. Also, you've got some really nice hex map of Eriador in the back and front of the book. That is your must buy. Moving on from the core rule book, I'm going to talk a little bit about the starter set, which unfortunately did not get here in time to put in the video. However, I did have the previous starter set, which was really good. The new one is an even better value. It has a condensed version of the basic rules, a full adventure, a map of Eriador, with this combat diagram on the back side of the map, cardboard standees like the ones that you see in the Dragonbane set, and a full set of One Ring dice. These dice alone have an MSRP of $19. For $24.99, you get all of the things I mentioned, including these special One Ring dice. You really can't go wrong. Those were the two must-buy items, but now I'm going to have some conditional must-buy items. First off, if you are going to be playing solo or cooperative, you need the Strider mode. So that makes it a must-buy if that is your goal with the game. For $4.99, you can get a PDF. Unfortunately, a physical copy is not available. And it has all of the rules to turn your traditional One Ring RPG into a fully solo or cooperative game, and it is a great experience. I've done a few videos on the solo play in the One Ring, but the best way that I can sell this to you is to tell you that when I was looking to start a cooperative game with my buddies, this is the one that I've taken to do that. So the One Ring Strider mode is a must-buy if you're looking for solo or co-op play. The other conditional must-buy is Moria Through the Doors of Durin. This is a must-buy if you want to do solo play with a full company, not just an individual hero. The rules in Moria Through the Doors of Durin allow you to create and expand and build and grow a company of dwarves to go exploring through the mines of Moria.
And they call it a mine. A mine!
The book has beyond that a map of Moria, which is a full fold-up map that you see underneath here, and has this combat map on the back side of that map. But it's basically this map here, just in a larger format. The book also covers the history of Moria. It covers Balin's excavations of Moria. It offers some new patrons, and it has several different adventure sites in the book, as well as rules for traveling through Moria and some of the bigger baddies that you can run into while you are going through Moria. It has rules for orc band creation and even the Balrog. There are tons and tons of options and opportunities for long-term play that you can do with this book and just the One Ring core rule book. So this, if you're wanting company solo play, is a must-buy. If you enjoy the stories of Moria and you are into dwarves, this is probably a good buy. At $44.99, it's definitely a good value. And now we're on to the might buys. First off, the Realms of the Three Rings. This book has a detailed expansion of the rules for the Elven Kingdoms and the residents thereof. It also has rules for Elf Lords for solo play. Though it doesn't have the solo rules themselves, you're still going to need the Strider mode for that. But throughout the book, you get a lot of nice art, just like all of the other One Ring books. And at a cost of $39.99, it seems like a very fair price for what you get in here. It's got some adventure sites, and as I said, it does detail all of the Elven Kingdoms, and it does a nice job of talking about the different residents thereof. So if you're into elves, if you want to do Elf Lord solo play, this would be a good book to pick up. Another might buy item is The Ruins of the Lost Realm. This was one of the earliest releases, and it covers the city of Tharbad. It also has a nice fold-out map of Tharbad in the back cover. This book is going to give you several adventure sites and more adversaries than you'll find in most of the One Ring accessories. This book is going to be great if you enjoy the adventure site process from the Forbidden Lands game, as they use a very similar method to design them here. Also, if you want to have Saruman as a potential patron, this book does offer that as well. One of the baddies that is not available in the core rulebook but was woefully missing were the large spiders, and they are found in this book. So that is another might buy for you if you want the stats for spiders, if you want more adventure sites, or if you want to have Saruman as an optional patron. And that is another $39.99 book. Aside from the starter set, the only other product in the line that I don't have to put in front of you here for the video is going to be the Tales from the Lone Lands. This book is another $39.99, and it has several adventures, as I understand, that you can use in your campaign. I think you can link them together or play them as one-shots. So if you're looking for more adventure material, you don't want to design the adventures on your own, that would be a good pickup. Next up, a couple of more digital products. And for those, I'm going to come back to the Peoples of the Wilderland, which offers 3 new cultures, being the Bjornings, the Elves of Mirkwood, and the Woodmen of the Wilderland. For $2.99, that is an absolute steal. Another $2.99 PDF-only offering is the Character Life Path system, which provides the option for developing a random backstory for your characters, which does have some mechanical effect as well. Again, at $2.99, it's hard to go wrong there. If you are a GM screen person, then you can pick up a Lore Master screen for $30, which includes the screen that you see in the background here. This is the PDF version that I printed and put into my custom screen, but for $30 you can get a regular screen with this information, and that will also come with the Rivendell supplement, which gives you a detailed description of the area of Rivendell, gives you some more patrons, and then also gives you the High Elves of Rivendell as a playable culture. So if you're into screens, you want to have all of that information readily available while you're playing, this would be a good pickup. Now I'm going to go over some third-party options, starting with this incredible tracker. So you can track your character's endurance, their load, their hope, and also their shadow. As these balance against each other, it's a handy way to keep track of when you're going to be wary or when you might have to have that bout of madness. This is available on Etsy through Schooner Labs, and it cost me $27, but it is really a very well-made product. It's very heavy. It's got some nice heft to it, and the engraving is very well done. Everything came assembled, and it seems like it's going to be very durable. So that's something that will be the envy of your table. When you're dealing with a fiction that is as large as Tolkien's Legendarium, you are going to run into points where you don't know as much as someone else at the table about a specific topic within that knowledge set. This is the Complete Tolkien Companion. I picked this up off of Amazon for about $15, and it is basically an encyclopedia of knowledge about Tolkien's works. So anytime that a question comes up and you don't have the answer, this is a great quick reference tool for that. While the One Ring is not a game that requires miniatures, especially with the new combat diagram that's going to be in the starter set and on the back of the map in the Moria book, it is a game that can benefit from miniatures to give you that visual inspiration for what's happening on the battlefield. And if you're looking for Lord of the Rings miniatures, there is no better company than Games Workshop. I realize some of those miniatures can be quite expensive, but you can get a copy of the entire Fellowship for only $49, and you can also get Thorin's company for the same price. If you're just looking for an individual model, I found the Legolas there for only $10 on eBay. So it does not have to be prohibitively expensive to add a little flair to your game. And the last thing I have to talk to you about today isn't going to cost you a thing, and that's because this is something I created that I'm sharing for free. So as I started playing my cooperative game, I found that we were having a little bit of trouble deciding what kind of enemies we were going to run into when we would have random encounters. The Strider mode does a great job of suggesting what kind of random encounters you would have through the inspirational context tools, But if you want a little bit more specificity on the style of enemy that you may encounter, this is something to give you that. Now, this doesn't tell you exactly what you run into, more of just a category. So with the Middle-earth Encounters inspiration tables, you would just roll your feat die and decide what kind of terrain you're in, and that would tell you what style of enemy that you might run into. For example, if you were going through a marsh and you rolled a 6, well, that's going to be orcs. Or if you were on the plains and you rolled a 7, well, that's going to be a man. So whenever you flip this over, it gives some categorical definitions that will tell you kind of what that means. So a man could be rangers, bandits, travelers, merchants, soldiers, etc. Orcs could be pillagers, hunters, soldiers, scouts, etc. And they also include goblins and wargriders in that category. How many you run into, the exact makeup of those bands, that's still up to you. But this will give you the ability to surprise yourself and make the experience a little bit more fluid. The second thing that I created to help along the solo experience was the Weapons and Armor of Renown generation tables. So in the One Ring, the standard format for the treasure tables is to create a treasure index, which is great for group play because the lore master creates a custom set of treasure that is designed to be found by the characters that are in their fellowship. The thing is, when you're playing solo or cooperatively, you don't have one lore master that knows these details that the players do not. So by having a random generation tool that uses the rules within the core rule book and just adds the random element to them, that allows you to create random magical items, treasure, armor, and regular items on the fly, so you can still be surprised when you get that result with your treasure hoard. Both of these are available on the Books, Bricks, and Boards Discord server for free. The link is in the description of this video. Look at those absolute legends. Keith, Simone, Dengar the Mighty, Joke, Blue Rose Lion, Agile Monk, Bjorn, and Mike the Hammer. Special thanks to I Am Not Tim, Aceen Dean, and Steve Grodzicki. And that, my friends, is my One Ring Buyer's Guide. Was this helpful? I hope it was. If you have any questions about any of the different products I've talked about here in the video, you want to know a little bit more about them, feel free to shoot me a comment. Love to respond to you guys in the comments section. And until next time, this has been Justin from Books, Bricks, and Boards. Good gaming, and God bless.
Goodbye.